I am so excited to welcome my guests today. I'm joined by Oriele and Noella, the co-founders of the brand Elemis. Elemis recently won the CEW Best British Brand Award, and these two women have been trailblazing a path in beauty for 30 years. Welcome, guys.
Lovely to be here.
Yeah, Tash.
I just have to share that we have been sitting here chatting and I have heard so many stories already about you guys and the career you've had. But let's start. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves, what you do now, and tell us a bit about you?
I'm Oriele Frank, obviously one of the co-founders of Elemis. I'm the Chief Product and Sustainability Officer. Very long title, but basically I have transitioned from brand, product development, and I'm now also spearheading B Corp and sustainability.
And I know you're doing amazing work in that because we've spoken about it before and we're going to come on to that in a bit.
Yeah.
Noella?
Tash, I am Global President and Co-founder. I wear many, many hats. I start in treatment development, product development. I look at the commercials, I mentor the GMs, and whenever there's a business piece struggling, I will drop in and see can I manage it.
So let's rewind 30 years because you guys have shared with me how 30 years ago, and then you both burst out laughing. You said, we've been doing this for 30 years, we've known each other for 30 years. What happened 30 years ago? Who was where and how did you meet? Because Elemis is a brand that I think everybody in the country will know. And one of these things when we look at these brands is we never think back to where did this come from and how did it start? And one of the things I always think is everything we know starts with somebody somewhere who had an idea.
Well, it started in 1989 with a phone call in the middle. I remember it was July and I was cashing up. I was working at Harvey Nichols at the time. And I answered the phone and there was a lady there and she said, "Are you Noella Gabriel?" And I said, "I am." And she said, "You know, I heard you might be a girl that I could bounce an idea off of. I want to launch something. Would you meet me?" Now, you know, I took a risk. I walked around.
What were you
I
doing?
was running the beauty department in Harvey Nichols, loving it. I was into my third year there. I had a fabulous team. And remember, Harvey Nichols at the time was real Sex and the City. It was edgy.
I mean,
you know,
it must be bustling.
It was a leader in beauty and in fashion.
Yeah.
So I was absolutely loving it. But I wanted more and I wanted something that I could put a little bit more of myself into. No idea what that was going to be. And that was Linda Steiner. And Linda Steiner, and again, a woman, you know, very entrepreneurial. She had a dream. She wanted to design something as close to nature as possible. And I said to her, I will join if I can do product development and treatment development. And there, my passion was skin, great aromatics, beautiful touch and texture, and really treating the skin at a whole new level. Didn't quite know what that was going to look like, Tash, but that was the beginning. And you know, I'll always say to young girls today who say, you know, "Oh, how did you get there?" You know, I took a salary decrease. It didn't really matter. It wasn't about the money. It was about putting myself into something that I could shape and mold. And if I did 2-3 years, so what? You know, it was the beginning of a journey.
I think that's amazing. One of the things I've done when I've made business decisions is I've asked myself, like, what's the worst that can happen? As opposed to, you know, knowing that I know everything, I've sort of said, well, what have I got to lose here? Nothing.
Yeah.
And Oriele, where did you come into this journey?
Well, Noella was there
Yeah.
with Linda and Sean joined, Sean
Yeah.
Harrington, the other co-founder. He was the salesman, you know, he
Yeah.
loved to get out there and do the deals and really network. He's an amazing networker. And him and I were at college together doing A-levels. And I'd actually worked for his father in the beauty industry. It was my first ever job when I came back from traveling. And when this idea was coming to get together, what I loved about it, I was always passionate about nature, aromatics, aromatherapy. I'd studied aromatherapy. And Sean said, "Do you want to come and join us?" And I was like, I've no idea. Actually took a pay cut as well. And really didn't know, but I knew this was a brand that I felt empathy was something I felt this was really real. This had a real ethos and the ideas were flowing. And really then as it evolved, you know, I became kind of the packaging development, the naming of the product, the copy behind it, the marketing of it, while these guys were out there fronting it really, selling it, training it, telling the world.
Merchandising it,
Yes.
selling it out at the other end, PRing it, you know, talking about it. It was the best job and is the best job in the world, Tash, still today.
I think when you look at a brand like Elemis, you just presume, okay, this has been easy. This is overnight success. This product took off and these guys just had it lucky. Is that what happened?
No.
I always tell the story, you know, we were predominantly essential oils, body products. the day that we actually transitioned to more of a serious skincare was a big turning point for us. But I remember sitting around the table, I'd persuaded them to spend a lot of money doing a clinical trial. We'd never done a clinical trial before. Lot of money, and we didn't have a huge amount of cash.
And did you really feel that was important?
We felt that if we were launching a product that was really efficacious, that was really going to do something, that we had to test it to see if it had any effect on the skin. And we had that test done. It takes months and months. It's independently done. You're not involved. You get a lovely dossier back. And the first line was not statistically significant. And we said, what do we do? We're about to launch this product. We've got a whole marketing campaign. And the day we sat there and said, hand on heart, we can't do this. This product is not good enough. This product is going to go back in the labs. We're going to work with the lab technicians. We're going to revisit all of our actives, our ingredients. We're going to boost actives. And then we had to test it again. And we got incredible results. But having the courage to say, no, that product's not good enough. I think that's really driven that integrity of the brand, a brand people can trust.
And how does one go from a few people coming together in that way, you being in the Harvey Nichols, running the beauty department, you getting a call from your old college friend, how does one go to a number one global product in that way?
I mean, I think we're dreamers, though. We're dreamers. You know, we're not.
Dreaming?
Yeah, I think if honestly, we were 3 people put together.
Yeah.
We have 3 very distinct, qualities and strengths.
Yeah.
I mean, Sean is a visionary. Sean will come with a dream, and he'll come with an idea. I am probably, I was going to say, a reckless creative being. I'm a free spirit. There are no limits to what I do. I think we can do everything. And then Oriele's attention to detail is honestly, it's almost excruciating, because she'll make sure that everything is done. And I think that combination is a very unique combination. And that is still the heartbeat today.
And I think we just had that belief. Every day was a new day, you know, that belief. And going through 4 different owners as well, you know, we've had to pivot so many times. You know, all the staff have to go to America and be based in New York, because actually New York's where it's all happening. We've had to pivot, change, keep learning. And I think we've just got that personality where we have that strength to be able to say, okay, I'm going to change, I'm going to learn, I'm going to adapt, and we can do this. So
I think there's no fear. I think that's a really, as I think about it, we don't get up with it. We're not afraid.
So let's talk about some of the ownership and experience you've had on the way, because you've been privately owned, family owned, publicly owned, venture capital owned. Just, Oriele, tell me about some of that and the experience of that. And is one better than the other? If you could choose one, which would you choose?
Do you know what? I mean, it's been every single one of them we have learnt so much from.
Yeah.
You know, when you're privately owned and it's people's private money, you know, it's very, very different to when you're on the NASDAQ stock exchange and the stock exchange owns you, and every quarter you have to give your earnings, and it's very driven, bottom line, top line. And then you go to private equity, which we'd never been through. So that was a really steep learning curve. And you suddenly realized you don't even know what PE means. It means they're going to package you up and sell you for as much money as possible. $900 million they sold this brand for. But, you know, what did that involve? They come in, these guys, and they go, do you know what? You need to change this, you need to do this, we need to develop the brand. Oriele, you need to be locked away and doing a 5-year innovation hub. Make sure that you've got a really strong product development, you know.
To elevate its value to 900 million.
Ensure that this brand is
and
really...
what had they got it, what did they buy it at? About half of that?
Well, it was part of the Steiner Leisure Group.
Okay,
so
I see, okay.
There was 7 entities and they had to sell that off. And then I'd say that you know, presenting to those 18 different companies to sell. So you're selling, you know, your brand.
We went on a roadshow.
A roadshow. Off we went on the roadshow. And
to sell the brand.
But then when L'Occitane Group bought us,
you
know, you're in the hands of whoever buys you. You know, it could have gone so many different ways. And L'Occitane Group bought us. You know, Reinhold Geiger is the owner. He said, I've watched your brand for 15 years. I've always loved it. I've tested your top 10 products in my labs, and they are fantastic. And we sat there. He said, I don't need all the show. I just want this brand. And you know what?
And then you know you've got someone who really understands, right?
Another true entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And you know, and we recognize that.
Yeah.
I'll always remember when he walked out of the room, we actually looked at one another and thought, God, wouldn't it be wonderful to join that. We really did, because he spoke our language and he was so respectful to our thought process.
Yeah. I mean, hearing you talk, Noella, just reminds me of something we discussed before we came on, which is what was lying dormant inside you. And I'd like to ask both of you that question, because I think as women, I think women are very resourceful and capable, but I think we do have things lying dormant inside us. You shared with me how you were a therapist, and now you're this kind of, can I say, commercial animal?
I'm a beast.
You're a beast. So how did you discover it? And then how did you react to discovering this capability inside you? And how did other people around you react to
I came in through the creative route, that's for sure. But I think, I opened a health shop way back in my old time, in my own town in Band. I'm Irish, as you can gather, Tash. In my little West Cork town, I opened a health shop. And, and the gross margin and my little P&L, and I was running all of that. And I was really, numbers rock my boat.
Right.
I love hitting a target. I love getting that brand out there. I love seeing people grow under me who can become real good business people. We have all these great GMs now brought into the brand, and to watch them grow and have the same dream as we have. But I did uncover a beast, and I think that's why I loved private equity. I really loved it. When we went into private equity, I remember saying, "Oh my God, Oriele, I'm so not a private equity beast. This isn't me." But Tash, I loved it. They spoke my language. I just rocked it. I really loved it. And that was like, wow, that was a roller coaster for 3 years. So,
what have your friends and family made about how you've evolved?
Oh, my poor family, look at me. I have my sister, who's one of my incredible mentors. She's 3 years older than me. She's a psychotherapist, okay? And she's very grounded. So she looks at me and goes, "Oh my goodness, Noella, breathe." So she's telling me breathe and stay grounded. So I think I'm surrounded by incredibly balanced people. I'm very grounded. I feel a very lucky girl that I stumbled over something 30 years ago, and I still kind of feel that's what it was. It was luck as well. I answered that phone that Thursday night. I could have said, "Oh gosh, I'm cashing up, I'm done." But those moments come, and I think you have to grab them.
Yeah, I think
and
you're
then
right.
You have to make them work. It was hard work, Oriele. Oriele did marketing of a brand that we had no budget. But yet she did a great job.
What have you discovered through this journey was dormant inside you? Because, I can speak as someone in the CEW, which is the beauty trading organization. And Oriele, you're incredibly highly thought of. I mean, when you turn up somewhere, it's like a celebrity's arrived, okay? A beauty industry celebrity, but it is. And that's because of, you're very present and people see you there a lot. So what have you found was dormant inside you?
I mean, I was very much behind the scenes, behind these two large characters, who could get up on stage and just ad-lib, and I was very much the detail. I think for me, I was always creative. I loved the look and the feel and the packaging. And in those days, we literally chose our own packaging, did everything, all the formulation. I would write the copy, I would write the names, I would do every little thing. Then you'd see the samples, then you'd press the button and you'd manufacture. Obviously it's a little bit bigger now, so you don't have, there's teams now that are incredible that have to do all that. We will still see the names and we'll still put our blessing on it. And we test every single formula still. Our bathrooms are always full. We're always testing. We're doing an innovation hub on Tuesday with our lab people. So we're still there. So I was always loved the feel, the texture, the chemistry, the biology. My grandfather was a bulb grower in Holland. He created new varieties of tulips and irises.
We're going to be talking about your grandfather in a minute.
So I had this nature, and I was always very passionate about touch. I actually wanted to be a physiotherapist. So to bring that sort of touch, empathy, people. And for me, it wasn't really about selling a product and it was manufactured. If it was makeup, I couldn't have done it. This was about making people feel good about themselves, both internally and externally.
And on this program, we do talk to successful women. Just tell me, I hate the phrase female entrepreneur because I'm like, why is that seen first? But the older I've got, the more I've realised it is actually relevant. Your gender does impact things. You do both have children. How have you navigated this from the point of view of being women? Is it something you think about much or not at all?
So we completely swapped. My husband looked after the children, which in those days...
Oh, you completely swapped?
We completely swapped. He was in the pub industry, and then one day he just said, "I'm going to look after our youngest," because we were 7:30 drop off, 6:30 pick up. Life was chaotic. And one day he just said, "I'm just going to try this." And I thought maybe 3 months, and I have 3 children, and so he has been an incredible support. So it's been very interesting.
Did you find that difficult though, having the
No,
roles?
because we were so busy, and it was. He knew that my career was an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
And he wanted to support me. So I've always had that real sort of almost gender opposites, really, where he had to do the school runs, the dentist, every little incident he would be there. I always made sure, and I do it now with all of our staff, it's like, don't miss any event, don't miss sports day, don't miss the play. That is sacred.
Yeah.
So but it was a real role reversal for me. But I think that has been a real help, having someone who I could depend upon.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
And probably, Tash, I'm the other end of the spectrum. Here you go. I was a single mum.
Right.
I have my daughter Kate, who's now 24. And a young millennial. So I live with a young, very vocal, as you know. But again, there was a moment that I didn't want to miss out on being a mum. I knew I was going to be a single parent.
Yeah.
So I took the moment and have no regrets whatsoever. So if there's anyone out there thinking, can you be a mum and develop and grow a brand? Yes, you can. I lived the world of au pairs and nannies like every mother out there, and running and never missed. I can honestly say I never missed a performance. Even when I went to New York to run the business run the US, I flew back to Manchester because Kate was going to university in Manchester and she's a performer like her mother. And I went back to see her. So I've never missed a performance. So actually, you can do it, and I think it's that juggling that makes it so satisfying.
I mean, one thing I've come to realise from having kids and having businesses, and this is just my point of view, is you just have to try and get through it, and then at some point you're kind of through it.
Yeah.
But whilst you're going through it, it will work at some points and won't work at others. But you're just trying to get through it. You're not trying to say I've got it all nailed, because how could anybody? So we're going on a little trip down memory lane. So, Oriele, your very first photo, is this your grandfather?
That is my grandfather, yes.
And why did you choose this photo for memory lane?
So I chose that photograph because he was an entrepreneur in his own world as a creator of new varieties of tulips and daffodils in Holland. And I remember being, as a child, we would be in the greenhouses with my brother, and we would be there with the lilies and the smell and nature and seeing the care and love that he put into these flowers. He was also very brave. They hid people in their house during the war, which was incredibly brave thing to do. And yeah, he was quite an inspiration, along with his wife as well, who I never met. But so that was the start of my love of nature.
And the next photo you've chosen from memory lane is you in a field of flowers.
So
tell us about this.
So that we have this incredible. I love people, and this is 5 generations of farmers. I meet with my farmer every year, and his son, and he now has his son, and it's over near Colchester. And that was actually, I said, how are the night scented stock doing? And he said, come now, the smell is incredible. At about 6 p.m, the aromatic would be just stunning. So we visit these fields when just our plants are in bloom. And
these are your ingredients.
These are our ingredients.
I think it's really hard for people to understand that behind a jar of a product, there might be a field growing flowers.
And that's why I say to the team, you are coming with me to put your feet in the soil and be surrounded by these incredible star flowers, echium, camelina. We go up to the organic rose fields. There's a female farmer there.
So your next photo, who's this?
So that is Sean in the middle. That's the three of us.
That's the 3 of you. How long ago was this?
That was the night I got Cosmetic Executive Women, wasn't it? That was 2008.
2008.
15 years ago.
And actually, we struggled to find a picture with us all
We haven't got any.
What, because you're not often all together?
Exactly.
And your final photo, I think, is going to be your husband, your 3 sons.
Yeah, my 3 boys and my husband. I mean, there is a whole other life going on, as you probably can gather. I have 3 boys. They're now 15, 18, 19, and 22. And, my incredible husband, who's been so supportive.
What do they think of you, though, having a mother who's done all this? What do they think?
I mean, I think they're quietly proud. But yeah, they are amazing, and they keep you very grounded, because ultimately, they're your children, and you have to help them on their pathway. They say to me, Mum, you're a real example of hard work, you know, and they can't remember the last time. I can't remember ever having any days off sick. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
We work. I don't know whether it's the adrenaline, but you know, we're very driven. We put everything into every day, and they see that, and I think.
That's a fantastic role model for kids to see, even if it's not necessarily a common one that's in every family. I always think it's an unusual role model, but it's a good one because they know then that their mother's very strong and capable, and it shows them a way of creating their own success as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Noella, down your memory lane. Now,
isn't that scary?
you were going to sing for us. No, I'm joking, but you
I'm
are a
gonna
performer,
sing.
and I feel like this photo may contain some of your performing
Yeah,
roots.
I mean, I am a trained classical singer, and that was going to be the career. I was cherry-picked out by a female, a nun. I was educated in the Presentation Convent in West Cork. I was one of 26 in a class, and she tapped me one day and she said, "This voice has to be heard." And I was plucked out at 13. I had a huge voice. I'd stand up, I'd fill a room. It was actually scary. It actually scared me every time I opened my mouth. Yeah, it was a big mezzo-soprano voice, bounced off the walls. And I'm sure to the bane of all my peers sitting there thinking, oh my God, this one's going to sing again. You know, you can just imagine it had its edge as well. And then I was selected to have a scholarship at the age of 13. And when you go and get a scholarship to sing, they don't train a female voice at 13 because it breaks like a male voice, but you don't recognize it. You can sing, but you don't identify it, and you can damage the voice.
Right.
So I did 2.5 years of learning how to breathe properly and the power of the breath, and that your exhale breath touches every cell and every muscle of your body. 2 years of breathing. It's a long time. You're cleansing breath. You are
as
the
a
breath.
teenager
As
as
a
well.
teenager. And the lovely sentence was, "Noella, let the breath sing the voice." And it always stayed with me. In other words, you get out of the way of the voice and let the breath go with the voice. And that was always a lot. I thought, God, this breath is powerful. And I'm 2 years in, I haven't sung a note. You can just imagine this. And my God, what's this scholarship all about? And then I started to sing, and I loved it with a passion. And people still ask me today, what's your first love, Noella? And I really juggle that, because I am a performer. I mean, you can see I'm a performer. Give me a stage and people and I'm off. I'm there, at any occasion. Sometimes things are meant to be. And then I thought, okay, well, I'm going to follow. Now I know a lot about my body. I know how to breathe. I know it's much more than just this up here.
Yeah.
There's another whole lot going on down here. And I think it was the seed for the next level. And then I did nutrition, and then I studied skin, and I had the skin, the breath. Now I have aromatherapy. Now I have my skill set. Then I kind of packed my bags and I left and I came to London.
And I feel we've just gone on to the next stage when you've moved on to the music.
Touch is so important to me. I mean, touch, if you marry great hands with great product, I think to this day, I think it's the most powerful anti-aging tool you can have.
And do you still ever do anything like this?
No, I don't, but I'm in development now, actually. I'm back in. They lock me away always. I've only had it 3 times in the whole 30 years, and I'm back there now. Just re-looking at what we have, high tech, high touch. What does high touch mean? Married with great technical, great product. That combination, I think, is very fascinating, and that will be the future for LMS. This is my biggest role as a single parent. I'm going to flip what Oriele said here now, because I don't, I'm a bit of a hard act to follow. And, and I don't want my daughter to feel, because I have a daughter, it's slightly different. So she's very proud of me. She doesn't read an awful lot of what I'm doing, but I bring home the products. She tries them. I listen to what she says. I just leave them in the bathroom, and then she might go say, "Love that, Mom. Don't like that." So I kind of get a little steer. Yeah, I just want it to be, as you can see, she's a singer. She is a performer, beautiful voice, and that's her chosen journey.
That's amazing. And I think there's so many parenting dynamics, aren't there?
And
there's like an endless amount of parenting dynamics, but actually everyone just wants the same. They just want
Hard
their child
to
to be
get it right.
happy,
Hard to
really.
get
But
it
as a
right.
single parent, you have to be both.
Yes.
And you don't have the other one to be
No.
bad cop, good cop. That's tough.
I think that's really tough. And this is your final photo.
My Brooklyn Bridge. WWD wanted to do an interview when I arrived in New York, and she said to me, where's your happy place in New York, Noella? And I said, Brooklyn Bridge. And everyone that knows me, Tash, know I have a love affair with Brooklyn Bridge. I actually believe my ancestors built Brooklyn Bridge, but that's a story for another day, right? So we're 6 o'clock in the morning, and we had photographers down there, makeup, you can just imagine, on Brooklyn Bridge. It was a big ask, but they took the photo shoot on Brooklyn Bridge, and it has amazing memories for me. And moving to New York to run the Elemis business there and set it up and build out a whole new structure was an amazing experience. And then it was just abruptly stopped. Actually, I returned to see Kate perform in Manchester and never went back because the pandemic hit. And you know, so I had to relocate back to London. But yeah, it's a highlight of my journey.
Oh, it's been so fantastic talking to both you guys and hearing about what an incredible journey and all the things you've done, that sort of inner strength you pulled up, the diversity that's occurred across your careers, despite having a large proportion of it with Elemis. Just from each of you, before we wrap up, what would be your advice to any woman who's watching this and thinking, I could never do what they've done, or how have they done it? Oriele, you go first.
I think, you know, you've got to just believe in yourself. I think, you know, if you can find a mentor or somebody that you can talk to, we are great believers in mentoring. And that's just reach out to people. I meet people all the time and we talk very transparently. So I would say be brave. You can do it. It's about belief. And that self-belief, sometimes you need people around you to support you, to guide you. And don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah. I would say you can. It's not easy, that's for sure. It's a lot of hard work. But dream. Have a dream. You have to have a dream. I do, and we still dream. You know, we still have a dream to fulfill. And, you know, check in all the time. Am I on the path I really want to be? Just don't. I used to always say to Oriele, the day I sit in the bed and go, oh God, another day with Elemis, I am going to give up. And you know what? That has never happened. And as long as that is, you know, you must, in your soul, it must feel right for you.
Yeah.
And always check in, you know, gut feeling. I believe totally on gut feeling.
Amazing. Thank you so much, both of you,
welcome.
for coming on today. I've absolutely loved chatting to you, and I feel like we could chat for at least another 5 hours.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you both.